Welcome back, everybody. Initial D, the greatest automotive show in the world ever made animated. Now, see, when I first saw this series, these entire episodes, the more than the races, more than the actual drift racing itself, the most prominent feature about these series was that it was so technically deep. How much grip the tires have while skidding, how often the brake pads get run down during the course of a race, because they are racing, from the top to the bottom, in the mountain, the hairpins of Japan. So heavier the car, the more you use up your tires and your brakes, and the lighter the car, it's the opposite. At the same time, the heavier the car, the more stability it is in high speeds, and the lighter it is. The best example there, Takumi Fujiwara versus any other heavy duty car. By heavy duty I mean 4-wheel drive, more horsepower car, especially the Lancer Evo and Nissan Skyline R34 GTR. When in each of those races, Ryosuke Takahashi keeps mentioning that, okay, this car is lighter, that car is this is that, this is that. It's so technical, and I loved it. That was the best thing about it. More than the actual race scenes, of course, Initial D is meant for the racing sequences, but more than that, for us enthusiasts, who wants to go more technical, more realistic approach, it just opened up so many of our hidden interests in automotive industry as a whole. Tires, brakes, suspension, even including the headlights. Yes, this AE86, it had up and down headlights, the up and down headlights. So even Takumi uses his infamous, blind attack trick, where he turns off his headlights and the headlights just go down. So it makes it, let's say, a tad bit more aerodynamic. And all of these things is mentioned so much in more detail in the show themselves. But in this particular video, I want to talk about my favorite, the man, the myth, the legend, Ryosuke Takahashi. That's right. Hey, who do you think is better at racing, Ryosuke or Takumi? Obviously, it's Ryosuke. Okay, Takumi is a natural born talent, Ryosuke is a genius. He's a maverick, just like me. Takumi has been more than his actual racing instincts. Takumi is more like muscle memory. As kids, as 7th grade, I think it was mentioned in the series that it was in 7th grade. So he's been riding the same route for 7 years every single day. So clearly, Takumi is unbeatable in his own home of Akina. Was it Akina or was it Akagi? I forgot. It was either Akina or Akagi. I forgot, okay? But in his home turf, Takumi is unbeatable. He's unbeatable. The only person who did beat Takumi was his own father. And that's why even Ryosuke lost in the home turf of Takumi. If Ryosuke would have practiced every single day, let's say for a month, then yeah, maybe the competition would have been much closer. But still, Ryosuke did give Takumi quite the challenge. And I think Ryosuke is a much better racer than Takumi, because he's the complete package, It's not just racing instinct, it's more like both the theory and the practical. Ryosuke is theory plus practical. And Ryosuke has more brains than his actual thing, because again, it is mentioned in the show that Ryosuke spends most of his time, doing all his calculations and perfecting his fastest racing theory. Yeah, that's it. And the fastest racing theory is the one that I want to emphasize on this particular video. So Ryosuke Takahashi is the founder, leader of both the Akagi Red Suns and Project D, D meaning dream. He was famously nicknamed Akagi's White Comet. I mean, look at how he drifts. Look at how he drifts around. Damn. Now, this is something that, it is not easy. It's not easy to pull off such a big project. By project, I mean not their own project. I mean such a huge scale, thing. He wants to be the fastest racer across all the which island of Japan? I forgot. Japan is an archipelago. There are lots of islands, but in the main island, Ryosuke wanted to be the fastest, the best. So that was his purpose. That was his dream. So Ryosuke created the Red Suns with the purpose of dominating the street racing scene all over Japan. Okay, all over Japan. He is very skilled, who can predict the racing outcomes by his theories, something that Kyosuke, his brother, has been unable to understand and or replicate. And to be very honest, no one has been able to replicate Ryosuke's calculations and his theories. See, more than the actual driving, Ryosuke was based on theories. When in his head, everything was theoretical. Okay, if I go this fast, I can make this drift and that drift. Okay, let's do it. It was like that. Takumi, on the other hand, he was purely by instinct. Takumi was just insane. He is just insane. Okay, I can do this. I can do this. Can I go this fast? Takumi is go first and then figure out on the way. Ryosuke is calculate first and then go according to that calculation. So both is equally impressive. Ryosuke is a very skilled racer. I mean, obviously, who can predict racing outcomes by his theories. Oh wait, I said this. My bad. So after creating the Akagi Red Suns, Ryosuke Takahashi planned to conquer the entire Gunma prefecture. There it is. Gunma prefecture. Prefecture. Yeah. But the main aim of Ryosuke was that he wanted to find out he wanted to test out his fastest racing theory. And this is where Takumi fit in perfectly. When before starting Project D, Ryosuke himself, he approached Takumi, hey, I'm gonna do this and I want you to be there. The offer is open. And this is the real life. This is the real life. Oh, look at this. Look at this. This is the real. Oh, this is real. This is real. Wow. The RX-7 though. It was the previous versions of the RX-7. And the god of drift, the Drift King, the real life Drift King. I keep forgetting his name. Why do I keep forgetting his name? Mr. Keiichi. But so Mr. Keiichi he's often regarded as the one who started drifting. Because he was going so fast around his corners, so he had to brake late. So when he brakes late, the rear wheel starts to push the car forward. This is the car. You apply the brakes, the weight of the car shifts forward. So when the car does this, the rear wheels keep spinning because of the momentum, and that's why it starts to fishtail. And Mr. K, this one, the Drift King himself, he started to play around with it, and then that was the story of how drift was born. So as this wheel started to skid at the back, he used to turn it, and then he kept those wheels running. He braked and he kept those wheels running. And so at the apex, just in the apex, he could just release the brakes and he could keep on going with the same momentum. That is drifting in a nutshell. The mysterious white ghost of Akira. Look at this color. It's so beautiful. The white ghost. After Ryosuke learns that Takeshi Nakazato of the Mogi Night Kids, he drove which car did he use? I forgot. I think it was the Evo. So yeah, when Nakazato and Takumi began their battle, Ryosuke and Keisuke, they chased down both of them, and this is where Ryosuke tried to figure out how Takumi was driving. So he was trying to synchronize his techniques with Takumi whilst chasing them from the back, and that takes a lot of brain power. That is not easy to do at all. Have you ever, in real life, followed another car? I'm talking mostly about the highway, of course, because you're going much more faster. So the moment the front car brakes, your reflex has to be equally, if not faster. Because the moment the red light blinks, you have to brake. Otherwise, you're gonna ram him from the back. So it's quite hard, and that's why people take at least 6 car length in front of the car and your car. At least 6, but 6 to 10 is a safe distance. And while racing, they're going more like one car distance, one car distance. So their reflexes must be superhuman. Racing. Project D, baby. Ryosuke comments on how flawlessly Takumi executes his four-wheel drift, saying even he cannot control his car as great as Takumi. Because he predicts that when Takumi is about to overtake Nakasato, he correctly predicts as Takumi uses the gutter technique. So this is the world famous technique of Takumi Fujiwara. He locks one of his wheels, or both of his wheels on one side in the gutter, so that he uses that to slingshot. It was later known that Ryosuke was invited to a professional racing team, but he passed this offer because he was only interested in street racing. And that takes courage, that takes guts. So clearly Ryosuke Takahashi brothers are quite rich. By rich I mean not just regular rich, they are super rich. How many of you own a car? Yeah, how many of you own a car? I mean, I drive my family car and I have to tank up sometimes. So it's expensive, and they're burning rubber, they're burning brakes, they're burning gasoline, and the overall maintenance of the engine, because at high rate, they always drive at a high rate. So their engine oil must be changed after every, say, 500 kilometers, because yeah, they're pushing their engine so hard. So they are quite rich. And if Ryosuke was willing to let go of the sponsorships of racing teams, that means clearly he has, if not equal amount of money, No, hey, would you like to race for us? No, I'm only interested in street racing, I'm funding this, all these cars are mine. I pay them, I pay him. This is my car, this is my brother's car. And yeah, you keep your racing scene. I'll stick to my street racing. So clearly they are rich, super rich. After learning that Takumi's several other battles with other teams and calculating his skills and speed, Ryosuke finally decided to battle with Takumi. This was in in season 1. Before the battle starts, Ryosuke mentions to Keisuke that if he loses the battle, he would give up on street racing. He would just quit, and tells Keisuke to be his place, to be the substitute leader. This turning was sick. That's Keisuke there. The RX-7, that's Keisuke. And the other driver was Godfoot. Yeah, this is the Nissan Skyline R34. It was so much heavier. The car is so much heavier. So this is when, before the race, Ryosuke tells his brother that no matter what, keep the distance for 6 seconds. I think it was 6 seconds if I'm not mistaken. So if 6 seconds you are behind him, you can cover up. That is sick. That is so cool. So soon Ryosuke takes the lead as Takumi botches up on a hairpin in his corner entry. But by that time, Ryosuke already wore down his front tires a lot. This is the race that I was talking about. In the race where Takumi and Ryosuke went head to head, even though Ryosuke on purpose reduced his engine's capacity just because of in a downhill race, it doesn't matter, because it really doesn't matter which car has more horsepower, less horsepower. What matters is which car can brake, and which car can be on the edge of grip while taking the turn. And this is why Ryosuke burnt up his tires, his front tires. He used up his tires a lot, so he couldn't brake just as hard. And this is where Takumi, since Takumi is expert in the four-wheel drifting, so he all 4 of his tires were evenly burnt up. Yeah, you could say burnt up. So Takumi had overall Takumi had more grip than Ryosuke. That's just so sick. This is the evolution of Ryosuke Takahashi, starting from the first stage. Look at this. The first stage was released in 1998. This was 1 year after I was born. 1 year after I was born. Second stage is 1999. And I really want you to focus on the animation. From the first to the second, third, look at that. The third, the shadow started to appear more in the clothes. Look at his collar. 2001. That was 2 years after the second stage. All the way till the 5th stage, Ryosuke and Takumi didn't really go head to head again. 4th stage was 2004, another 3 years. Another 3 years. And in the 4th stage, Ryosuke dyed his hair blue. Look at the graphics, look at the shadows. See, it's improving. It's slowly improving. 5th stage, 2012. How many years later? Dang. And finally, 5th stage was good. 5th stage, when I say good, I mean there. It's so much more modernized. Final stage, 2013. Yeah, we had a good run though. When you watch the entirety of the series, you won't really feel, story-wise, you won't really feel there have been much gaps. Let's say a few months there, a few weeks there, but not in years and years, unlike these anime that came out. Just like this one, Batman, remember The Dark Knight? Yeah, The Dark Knight, and then The Dark Knight Rises, the Batman movie. Between those movies in real time, it was 4 years gap, but in the movie universe, it was an 8-year gap. So, but initially it's the opposite. The gaps between them are so huge, but in the anime timeline, it's only a few weeks. Remember yesterday we raced there, but in reality the show came out 2 years later. So that is something. Attention to detail. Oh, this is real. Oh, this is real. This is the real car. I want you to listen to the sound of it. Red cells. This is the real life replica of it. It looks so beautiful, doesn't it? It just touches my heart. It touches my heart. During the battle with Koichi, when Koichi takes the lead, Ryosuke notices one flaw with his driving technique. His flaw is that in making a right turn, since this one, I keep forgetting his name. What is it? Koichi. Since Koichi is he was a professional racer. So in track racing, that there's no traffic, right? So left, right, blind turn, blind left. That there's no other vehicles. But in the real life when you race, because they're racing in the streets, they're not even. It's not even legal. Okay, first of all, don't ever do street racing. It's illegal. Not just here, everywhere. It's illegal everywhere, especially in Japan. Have you seen those documentaries where police beat up those street racing kids? Just watch that video and you will say, okay, you know what? I'd rather go slow than to get beaten up by cops just like that. So what I was saying is, in real life, I'm in India, and I think India and Japan. India and Japan, we have this right hand side, means the steering wheel is on the right hand side. Okay, so in the right hand side, when you have to turn right, this thing, as in the window, you have the right windshield, and this the bar that separates the front shield and the right window. It disrupts your vision. Okay, so whenever I take a turn, I usually do this. I usually go front and do this. For left turn, it's easy because you have more space. Similarly, for American cars, where the steering wheel is on the left hand side, they would probably have a little bit of difficulty in left turns. I'm not saying complete difficulty. Oh, I'm completely blind. No, I'm saying that thing, the bar that separates the front windshield with the left hand side windshield, it disrupts your continuous flow of vision. Okay, so that's why. And this was the weakness that Ryosuke figured out while racing with Koichi. How do you pronounce it? I had to watch the series again. Koichi. And Ryosuke overtook him in the right turn, because Ryosuke has switched off his fear response of the right turn, knowing that, okay, I'll die. If I have to die, I'll die. But I know that he has this weakness, so let me go for the risk. Woo! That was so awesome. And exclusively in the anime, Takumi asked Ryosuke for a special rematch in Akage. I think it was in 3rd stage maybe. So he did this just so that Takumi can test his skills out against Ryosuke. Finally, we know that Ryosuke beat him because of course it's, oh yeah, Akagi was in Ryosuke's turf. Yep, I remember this. Yo, that's a Miyata. That's a Mazda. Bye bye. Nice. This gameplay is from, I think, Forza Horizon 5. Yeah, it's so cool. It's completely cool. And during his time in Project D, Ryosuke took up a mentor. He became a mentor for Takumi and Kyosuke, giving cryptic advices before the races. And there's even a meme about this. If you ask Ryosuke anything, he would say that sentence in such a cryptic way that you have to actually become Sherlock just to figure out what did he just say. Like, what is he talking about? But just like before that race where Keisuke has to race with another similar car, that female driver, but Ryosuke says that, remember Keisuke, she has a single you have a single turbo, she has a double turbo, she has a twin turbo, and that's it. That was a sentence. So what the difference is that for twin turbo, it takes more time to spool up, or maybe I'm saying the opposite one, but it was something like that. So what Ryosuke does to win is he bumps her car just a little bit, just one bump, and this disrupts the spool of the turbo. So it lags just for that split second. It lags, and then Ryosuke with his single turbo, he just overtakes her, and that was the message. So it's similar cryptic messages are hidden all over. Not even hidden. Ryosuke gives these type of advices throughout the series, and this is what makes Ryosuke so intriguing for me. I loved Ryosuke for his because he uses his brain more than this thing, and I'm similar. Really though, I really all my heroes have been more of the intellectual type. Sherlock Holmes, Batman, Iron Man. Yeah, no, you can get all the good traits from all other superheroes. I'm saying I have been more aligned towards those superheroes which are more brainy type. Okay, finally let's talk about the Zero Theory, where he races against Rin Hojo. So Rin Hojo was the guy that fell in love with the same girl that even Ryosuke was had as his girlfriend. And what happens is eventually the girl commits. So because of that, Rin Hojo becomes the Grim Reaper. He intentionally pushes his opponents off the road so that he can have his revenge against a dead person. So eventually in the rematch against Rin Hojo, Ryosuke finally perfects his Zero Theory. What Zero Theory states is that completely let go of everything. It's like the peak of meditation. Let go of everything. Just focus. There was this story about how to do meditation. Just think about a tree. Think about a tree. Think about a tree. Eventually, after years and years and years, you can, whenever you meditate, you can let go of everything and just look at the tree. And the final test, now forget the tree. Even remove the tree itself. So throughout all these years of meditation, you let go. Just imagine, whenever you're distracted, imagine a tree. So what happened in the past? What's going on at home? What am I gonna do? So just remember, just picture a tree, and the last moment, forget the tree. So now you're completely zero. Nothing. There's no front. There's no back. There's no the past. There's no future. Nothing. You're just there. And in that final moment, Ryosuke uses his Zero Theory against the Grim Reaper, Rin Hojo, and he wins. And that was perfect example, man. That was perfect example. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. This was my take on why Ryosuke Takahashi is a better racer than Takumi Fujiwara, because Ryosuke is a complete package. He's a complete package. You cannot win against your instincts in all times and in all places. You need to have brains and skills to apply it. So thank you so much for watching. Check out all his drawings, and I'll see you next time. If you want me to do a separate video on Takumi Fujiwara, do let me know. And your homework for today, subscribe to my channel right there. Yeah, I did this just to show it. Subscribe to my channel. See ya, bye bye.